Dr. Igarashi will give the first talk.
Yeah. We invite our co-chair, Dr. Surya Prakash, to come and join us. This is one of the most important sessions we kept it at the end of the day because these lectures are the lectures which actually will help us to overcome the problems that we face when we are actually doing the various CTOs. So the topics are made in such a way that when you get stuck into a particular problem, how to come out of it. Many a times we abandon the cases because of the want of further techniques. So the last session is more on troubleshooting, how to get out of a situation. So they're all our Japanese colleagues who are going to speak in the end. And since the Hirandani is on cable, we can go back at 2 o'clock on that.
Okay, may I start my presentation? Okay, in this session, I'm requested to talk about how to track a tortuous epicardial channel. However, I want to change my lecture contents because I want to show you this impressive slide. This is wiring to Zephyr channel by SO03 system. Okay, this is target Zephyr branch. And usually, not only epicardial channel, but also Zephyr channel, such a kind of a very tortuous channel is very difficult to pass through by using Sion or Sion black or such guide wires. However, by using new guide wires, so 03, please just proceed. Gently and rotate. Very tortuous channel. However, careful wiring pass through like this. So this is answer to pass very tortuous channel. So 03 is a very useful guide wire. However, unfortunately, I know this guide wire is not available yet. I want to simply explain this guide wire. .014 guide wire system, and tip load is only 0.3 gram. Most floppy guide wire in the world. And the chip is a dual core system, so more better to control. So near future in India, this wire is available. So if and coming soon. If if this guide wire is available, please use this system. And I want to talk about another very challenging CTO case. I want to focus to talk about bridging, how to treat bridging collateral case. Previously, case is bridging collateral case. Bridging collateral case is usually very difficult, technically difficult, because I think such a bridging collateral CTO case is less chance of a retrograde approach because collateral filling is competitive. And more risk of antegrade dissection and hematoma progression induced by a frequent dye injection. To confirm exit of CTO exit, to confirm CTO exit, operator must inject contrast dye frequently, antegrade manner, so high risk of dissection. And if bridging collateral is originated from very close near to the entry point of CTO region, sometimes during antegrade complex wiring, bridging collateral is easy to decrease or disappear. So bridging collateral CTO PCI is very difficult, I think. And bridging collateral is so many types, like this, extra vessel type, and some bridging collateral is a multiple connection like this, so many connections. And another pattern is ipsilateral Zephyr to Zephyr connection. To treat this kind of connection channel, fundamentally very gentle wiring is necessary. Now, however, to treat ipsilateral to zeptal connection, I think another tips and tricks is necessary. So in this session, I want to talk about how to treat such a kind of ipsilateral zeptal to zeptal connection, bridging collateral case. And most important point to estimate bridging collateral is this angle. Everyone hope to treat use to treat for retrograde approach. However, this steep sharp angle is a problem, I think. I want to show interesting case. This case is LAD CTO cases. And ipsilateral channel is detected like this. And I treated by reverse cut techniques like this. And final result is looks very good. However, please check this plot. Okay, can you see? Okay, perforated. Channel is perforated like this. If you try to use this ipsilateral channel, this perforation is easy to occur. This case is fortunately this perforated channel is connected to the right ventricle, so clinically silent. However, in some case, this case is another case. This part is perforated, no connection to ventricle, so tamponades happen. This is one of the serious complications. Okay, so if ipsilateral connection is like this, very steep channel, yeah, no, I don't recommend to try to pass through for retrograde approach in this situation. So in this case, I started antegrade wiring. However, unfortunately, this guide wire advanced to the wrong direction. And next step is I check right coronary artery. Fortunately, there is a collateral filling route from septal branch. And I isolated, fortunately, like this, and the guide wire passed through the disconnection channel like this, and reached to the exit of CTO region. And the next step is bilateral wiring. However, this case is exit portion is very angulated, so antegrade guide wire advanced to the septal direction. And the retrograde guide wire system easy to go to the diagonal direction. So reverse cut technique looks very difficult. And in this situation, I changed my strategy and try to advance guide wire to the diagonal direction. And I confirmed this guide wire is inside of vessel and put a balloon to the LAD to diagonal branch. And this is modified style reverse cut technique. And fortunately, in this case, guide wire passed through to the proximal true lumen. And I put a DS from LAD to this LAD, and this is the final result. And this is case one summary. Ipsilateral septal to septal collateral with sharp connection angle are not interventional collateral for retrograde access because of high risk channel injury risk. And antegrade approach or retrograde approach by other interventional collateral should be primarily considered, I think. I think this is another case, very interesting case. LAD mid bifurcated CTO region with ipsilateral collateral and CKD stage 4. So we must save contrast dye injection. And ipsilateral collateral is detected like this. And the CTO length is not so long. And this is connection channel. Looks very difficult to use for letter-grade approach. And unfortunately, from right coronary artery, no promising collateral route like this. So in this case, I started antegrade manner. However, before starting this strategy, to save contrast dye, I delivered microcatheter to this connection route. And I tried a tip injection. And the tip injection revealed clearly exit of CTO lesion and with minimum contrast dye. And I checked the entry point of the CTO lesion. I started antegrade wiring. From this view, this guide wire position looks good. However, from LL view, this guide wire position is very far from target exit like this. So I immediately changed to the parallel wire technique. And the first wire position is here, and I changed microcatheter to crusade one, and from side hole, I try to advance to the correct direction like this. And this position looks better, looks compared with first guide wire. And from LL view also, this second guide wire position looks very close near to the CTO distal exit. However, unfortunately, second guide wire also advances a little bit in the wrong direction like this. Until this timing, injected dye accumulation volume is only 11 cc. And the next second wire position is here. So I pull out this first wire and remount crusade catheter to the second wire. And I tried, and this is third wire, again, parallel wire technique. And target is just 1 millimeter above of second guide wire. And from LL view, almost overlapped. And fortunately, this third wire gets this true lumen like this. And at this timing, injection dye volume is only 14 cc. And change guide wire and checked IBAS finding. And I put a positioning of DS implantation, delivery. And to decide the position, this TPG injection is also very useful. And put a stent and the proximal part also. Second stent I implanted. And this is the final angiograph. Excellent result is achieved. And the total injection dye accumulation volume is only total 20 cc. This case 2 summary, total dye volume is 20 cc, and contrast dye induced nephropathy is not happening. And the crusade parallel wire technique and the biplane angiogram system is very useful to save contrast consumption. Dye injection from microcatheter through ipsilateral septal to septal collateral is a useful method to identify CT or exit angiographically and to save dye consumption. And this is third case of the mid-short CTO case is ipsilateral collateral case. No chance of from RCA connection retrograde approach. And this is a reattempt case, but no chance of retrograde approach from a right coronary artery. So I started antegrade approach wiring again. However, inside of CTO region is already damaged by previous attempt. So guide wire control is very difficult. So in this case, I tried to find ipsilateral collection channel more distal part. And fortunately, we find more distal part, the ipsilateral connection channel. But the angle is not so steep. And from this route, guide wire pass through easily like this to the distal part of the CT region. And guide wire successfully leads to the exit of the CTO region like this. And the next step is a reverse cut technique. However, in this situation, I recommend to change guiding catheter system. First, I started with a single guiding system. However, I switched in this timing to the double guiding system to get a more stable backup system. I recommend that this system is more better in this situation. And successfully, I delivered balloon system and dilated. And I did the reverse cut system, and we get final success like this. Okay, this case summary is ipsilateral septal to distal septal collateral channel collaterals without sharp connection angle a good candidate for retrograde access and sick. And the reverse cut technique is available just like a usual retrograde approach, retrograde approach. And another important point is double guiding system is recommended for stable procedure, I think. And this is the final case. This case is a non-stamp CTO with ipsilateral connection, like this. This position is antegrade entry point, however, non-stamp. So this case is very difficult to penetrate by guide wire, even I use concave proxy guide wire. And this case is, there is a ipsilateral connection channel, and the successfully guide wire pass through this route, like this. And the coursier catheter is successfully delivered inside of the CT region. In this situation, only one available method is IBUS guided retrograde direct crossing. Under the direct observation IBUS finding, this is a CTO region, and the lateral wire is detected like here. Then from Kalina's side, I try to penetrate to the proximal true lumen. And this case is, fortunately, this guide wire is this guide wire get proximal true lumen like this. After that, a lateral wire is captured into the antegrade guiding catheter system, and next balloon dilated, and put to DES antegrade manner, and this is final result like this. And a case of summary, non-stamp and non-penetratable LDCTO case was treated by IBUS guided retrograde direct crossing technique through ipsilateral septal collateral channel. And in this situation, 8 French guiding catheter system, or if not available, 8 French system, 7 French double guide system is necessary for this technique. So ipsilateral connection channel, septal to septal connection, so many variations. So to treat this kind of lesion, so many techniques is necessary. This is my conclusion. Thank you for your attention. Okay.
So you advise the ipsilateral collators, 8 French is more comfortable.
Yeah,
to 7 French. The left main should be big enough to handle both catheters, I think.
It's usually antegrade approach. My routine is 8 French guiding catheter system because if we want to try IBUS guided wiring is one option. 8 French guiding catheter system is better. However, in foreign countries, French is not always available. In such a situation, I use 7 French guiding catheter system. And in this kind of ipsilateral zeptal connection, sometimes if you try to use IVA system, double guiding system is better, I think.
If no more questions, we will go to
Just
the...
one question here.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
If there is proximal tortuosity of the donor vessel before you enter the septal collateral and your corslet doesn't go forward, then how do you do it? Because unless that goes forward, it's very difficult to enter the septal collateral and then get the support to go up. So the tortuosity of the PDA is so much that the corslet doesn't go forward for you to go into the septal collateral.
Proximal tortuosity?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean RCA proximal tortuosity?
Yes, yes, PDA.
Okay, and to use Zeptal to RCA PD to Zeptal and LAD, yes, route. In such a situation is sometimes very difficult. And key point is one is guiding catheter backup is very important.
Corwell is more useful, Corwell catheter.
Yeah. And another important point is sometimes in such a situation is microcatheter delivery is very difficult also. So side branch anchor or
Anchoring.
Sometimes extension guiding catheter system is very useful to enhance backup system.
But we can use a Caravelle or a other microcatheter.
Okay, that's a very important question. Okay, I think my first choice is Corsair because Caravelle is impossible to rotate. So I start with Corsair, and Corsair is a Bouzy effect, a dilate channel. That is very useful. And sometimes channel is very hard, very difficult to pass through by Corsair because Corsair is a more big profile. In such a situation, I switch to the Caravelle.
Okay.
That is my usual strategy.
Thank you, Dr. Igarashi.
Yes.
We'll go to the next speech by Dr. Hamasaki. He will try. Microcatheter does not cross the collateral. What to do? Dr. Hamasaki.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to talk about what to do when microcatheter does not cross collateral. So, first of all, we have to perform CTO PCI under enough backup support. It is, of course, not special for CTO PCI, but also all PCI. So, to get enough backup support, ideal guiding catheter selection is necessary. In general, for LAD, extra backup type is better, and for LCX, extra backup type, also better. And in some case, unplugged catheter is better. For RCA, unplugged left is a better choice to perform CTO PCI. If we cannot get enough backup support by guiding catheter, anchor balloon technique is one option. And if proximal part of vessel is condition is better, so child in mother technique using guiding extension is one option. Next solution is exchange of microcatheter. Let me show you some case. In this case, target collateral channel is a septal channel. As you can see, septal channel has a tortuosity and a not so big channel. Fortunately, guide wire could pass, but Corsair could not pass this channel. So I exchanged a microcatheter to fine cross. As you can see, fine cross could be advanced deeper compared with Corsair, but could not pass completely. So as a next step, I use Caravelle. After that, Caravelle could pass this channel completely. Of course, this case is only one case. Caravelle is always better than, Caravelle is not always better than other catheter. So some case, Caravelle could not pass, but fine cross pass. In some case, Caravelle pass and fine cross cannot pass. So it depends on each case and each condition. So next case, target collateral is a tiny channel of LCX, as you can see. Sion, supported by Corsair, fortunately could pass this channel. It takes a short time. Okay. And Corsair could not pass this channel, so I changed microcatheter from Corsair to fine cross in this time. As you can see, fine cross could pass this channel easily without resistance. So, and in this case, target region is IJCTO. RCA gives collateral by a septal channel. Sion, supported by fine cross, could pass this channel. However, fine cross could not pass this channel. So in this case, I change microcatheter from fine cross to Corsair. As you know, Corsair can be rotate, so rotation movement is effective for this case. As you can see, Corsair could be advanced gradually, and finally, Corsair could be advanced into LED. So we have two choices. One is a conventional microcatheter, and the other is Corsair. Of course, both choice has a good point and a bad point. A conventional microcatheter is a smaller diameter than Corsair, and as you know, Corsair has a screw effect and a strong backup. So best catheter for each case is different. So it depends on vessel condition. And next solution is balloon dilatation. Of course, balloon dilatation is performed only for septal channel. This case is RCA-CTO after CABZ. Target region is here. And the collateral flow RCA was mainly supplied from LED by a lithograph. Yeah, this is only collateral source. So PCI start with antegrade. However, antegrade wiring failed and retrograde approach was used by LITA and LED. Guide wire Sion could pass this channel supported by Corsair, but Corsair could not pass this channel. So next I use fine cross, but fine cross also could not pass at this point. So I perform a balloon dilatation with 1.0 mm balloon was used. So after balloon dilatation, fine cross could pass. So After channel crossing, successful recanalization could be achieved by reverse cut. Final CAZ showed just like this. Septal channel injury occurred. Injury was not small, as you can see, but a leak to ventricle existed, and this patient's condition was quite stable. So therefore, this procedure finished without any additional treatment in this case. So just like this, balloon dilatation has a risk of injury of a channel, so we can use balloon dilatation for only septal channel. And the next point is a change of guide wire position. Guide wire position is very important to cross the collateral channel. So this is a IJCTO case, and the antegrade was failed, so retrograde approach was performed by this collateral channel. Chip injection showed not so bad collateral channel, but as you can see, channel has some tortuosity. This is a target region, and guide wire could be advanced gradually, and guide wire could not be advanced to proximal part. So I want to change the guide wire. So to change the guide wire, I want to advance the microcatheter. However, as you can see, first I use a fine cross, but fine cross could not pass this channel. So next, I use a Corsair, but Corsair could not also pass around there, okay, around this point. So next, I use Caravel, but Caravel also could not pass at this point. During these steps, fortunately, guide wire could be advanced deeper position. After that, as you can see, Corsair could pass this part. So it means to cross the collateral channel, deeper guide wire position is very important. After that, we can perform a reverse cut. And in this case, as you can see, a guide wire put into a LAD, deeper LAD. And the other case, guide wire position is in a diagonal. And the other case is in a septal channel. Any vessel is okay. Important thing is the deeper guide wire position. In the first place, change of collateral channel is of course one option. So this is one case. This is this case used this septal channel. However, this channel is also is a tiny channel, but guide wire pass, but the microcatheter could not pass. As you can see, next to this channel, good channel exists. So I change the channel. So microcatheter could pass easily other channel. So if other channel exists, move to other channel is one option. So this is my summary. In CTO PCI, it is not rare that the microcatheter does not cross collateral. My solution is on slide. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. But one question.
Yes.
If nothing cross, or you are not able to cross a fine cross or corsair or balloon, then what will you do? No microcatheter cross, then what will you do? You will call it a day, or-
I told in my presentation, if channel is when channel is septal channel, yeah, balloon is one option.
All options left out, then
Maybe you
you will try antigrade, or
you
will-
must you have to search another
Collateral.
other collateral channel.
Collateral.
you will not leave the case. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hamasaki. So we will call the next talk by the knuckle wiring antigrade retrograde by Nagamatsu.
Okay, thank you very much to introduce. So my title is the tip and tricks of the antigrade and retrograde knuckle wiring. This time I want to focus on the CTO lesion. And the knuckle wiring for retrograde, this is another slide. Okay, so this is another slide. And so might be a little bit confused systems.
Thank you.
In the mirror? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay. And knuckle wiring for CTO lesion is the concept is a keeping vessel with blunt push, a gentle push. And I have the question for you. And which way is difficult to perforation? And upward is the blunt and with the knuckle shape. And downward is the usual procedure using the usual wiring, like a shape point. Okay, very easy there, created answer. So blunt with the knuckle shape is more difficult to perforation the usual shape procedure. But we have the chance of keeping it vessel with the blunt pushing. But usually it is like a knuckle wire shape, and it might be, they're very easy to get advanced to the subintimate space like this. And they're very difficult to induce to intimate space again, and from subintimate space. So they're just like they're using the knuckle wire technique. We need retrograde or antegrade reentry procedure. And which wire is better for knuckle wiring for CTO lesion? And so my recommendation is please use a rubric and a soft wire for changing knuckle shape. And like this movie, so usually they automatically change the knuckle shape, and due to this wire's rubric and the soft material. And my recommendation, firstly, please use a Sion black wire. This Sion black wire have the polymer jacket wire, another set plastic jacket wire, and full hydrophilic coating. So very good, nice lubricity. And this wire tip load is only 0.8 gram force. So I think they're very suitable for the knuckle wire. But the key point is we have to keep knuckle shape. And sometimes we have the experience. And due to this CTO lesion hardness, this knuckle shape is automatically changed to the sharp point, like this animation. And due to this hard lesion. And we should change wire depending hardness of lesion, and for keeping knuckle shape and pushability. And we have the option, and please change the wire, and even if you use firstly the field FC or the Sion black polymer jacket, very lightweight tip load wires, and please escalation, and like a pilot 200, and another one. And the complication of knuckle wire, and number one is perforation. That's why, and due to the strong push at acute bend. And previously, I already mentioned about this like a knuckle shape is have the blunt and gently push we can. But sometimes I hear about the perforation situation, and this is like an acute bend part, and especially the RCA and the segment 2 to 3, and from antegrade and from retrograde. Please pay attention. And another complication is a hematoma. And that's why, due to the insertion beyond the CTO region. Okay. And after that created the hematoma, so we need a more longer stent and be difficult to care about this like a situation. And a third issue is the tie of wire. And that's why due to the, and especially using a tapered wire. So I have experienced 3 times and using the XTR and using the XTA wire. And so I push the wire, but automatically this wire make a tie. And from antegrade, this like situation is okay, but from retrograde, and once created a tie situation, so very difficult to take out this like wire. And which region is suitable for the knuckle wires? And so I think this case is very suitable for the knuckle wire technique. And the instant CTO and the ambiguous route and the bending route and the hard region. So I will explain about with using the actual cases. And the first is the instant CTO. The concept is how to keep instant. And I will show the case. This is the picture. And we can see the CTO region from the, at the RCA from the segment 2 to the segment 3 proximal part. And so this CTO region B in the all segment is in the instant. So very easy way. And please use a knuckle wire technique. So this time I use a Sion black wire and with a Colosseum microcatheter. And so I push a Sion black wire with a little bit big curve. And then so that automatically change a knuckle shape. And I push the continuously. And finally, this Sion black knuckle wire and pass through this through lumen. And but this time I confirmation without contrast the rotation angiogram. So okay, looks like this wire, this knuckle wire be in the instant. It's okay. So finally, we can get a very good result like this. And I have a question. Knuckle wire can be kept in stent always. So my answer is no. So I have experience. And even if they're using a knuckle wire technique. And I will show the case. This is IJCTO. This is another case. And I show the bidirectional simultaneous injection. And this CTO segment is from the segment 1 to the segment 3 distal part. And just bifurcation, the PD and the AB. And this time I try to using a knuckle wire technique. And this time I get over the wire balloon backup, and I use the first of the Sion black wire, and automatically change to the knuckle shape, and I push the continuously like this. Okay, this knuckle wire be instant. Okay, this time I check again, and with the rotation and with that contrast like this. But so amazingly, this knuckle shape wire and got advanced out of stent, and like this picture. And due to narrow knuckle shape, I think I support. And so the first that I already mentioned about this, if this CTO lesion have the very tight lesion, and due to this lesion hardness, so this knuckle shape automatically change to the more sharp morphology. And so this situation, we have to keep knuckle shape, and sometimes get advanced the BR stent strut, and even if the knuckle wire. And finally, so I changed the procedure and the knuckle technique to the penetrate procedure. So finally, we can get a very good result like this. And there's another lesion, ambiguous route. And the point is keep invested with blunt push and a good milestone for the opposite side wiring. I will show the case. This is the IJCTO. And it's very difficult to recognize where is the vessel. Okay. But at least we can see that this is RV branch. So it might be at least up to here is a B in vessel. These like a very fine bridge collaterals. And then so this time, okay, and then so this CTO region, this basically have the very quite nice promising collateral channel via SEPTA channel. So, and my concept is insertion the wire up to here, and if this wire automatically changes the knuckle shape, okay, there I push continuously, and this knuckle wire might be the keep in the vessel, even if the sub-intimal space, and but we have this region and a very nice promising collateral, and after that, and we can do the reverse cut technique. So, so my concept is this time is correct. And this time, so I use the field IFC. So that's why so this PCI procedure is about 6 years ago. And so I use the field IFC. And it's very lucky that this field IFC wire and automatically change to the knuckle shape. And so I continuously push. And so I insertion additionally the collateral microcatheter. And so that I started the reverse cut. So very quite nice milestone. And for the retrograde wiring, so very easy way. And then finally, I successed this PCI procedure. And another case, and bending root and of the CTO lesion. The point is keep invested with blunt push. And I show the case. This is RCCTO, and looks like ambiguous root. Okay, and so this CTO region from the beginning, the just osseous part, and this is looks like include the bending part. I don't know this time. But so I started from the antegrade PCI procedure and the retrograde PCI procedure. Okay, and so antegrade wiring very, very difficult. So that's why the base, due to the base and very hard region. And so I switched to the retrograde PCI procedure. And so as you can see, we can see the bending region and at this RCA segment 2. So, and due to this bending part, so very, very difficult to the wire manipulation, and even if the Gaia family. So, and this time I decided to do the knuckle wire technique on both sides, from antegrade and retrograde. And firstly, I tried to insertion a knuckle wire from antegrade and using Sion block. And the concept is keep in vessel with blunt push. And very lucky that this Sion block wire and automatically change to the knuckle shape, and I push and continuously, and a little bit get advanced the CTO region. And okay, and so might be looks like this wire position is subintimal space, but we have already set up the retrograde system. So
Release it.
and so so I started to the retrograde and insertion the knuckle wire like this. So this time I use a Sion block and a crosshair, and that's the concept is the keep in vessel with blunt push. Even if the subintimal space is okay, we can have the option of reverse cut. And yes, I check the rotation angiogram. It looks like each knuckle wire, antegrade and retrograde, it looks like a very close. Okay, so this time I decided insertion more, and both sides from antegrade and retrograde. And finally, I did, okay, and we can see the bending region again, and using the knuckle shape. And I did a reverse cut technique like this. And finally, we can get a very good result. So, and another region is hard region. Very big, quite hard region. So intentional subintimal tracking with blunt push is a point. This is the RCCTO. And looks like not so hard, but actually very hard. And so I use a I did a Gaia wire escalation and technique from antegrade. And so I up to the Gaia third and the Conquest Pro 12 and parallel wire technique I did, but failed. And so I changed the procedure in intentional subintimal tracking with blunt knuckle push. And so I did use Sion block wire with crosshair from retrograde. And the concept is intentional subintimal tracking with blunt push and avoiding the intimal hard plug. And so from antigradally, so I use a Gaia second wire. So that's why for keeping knuckle shape. So the purpose is avoiding the shape and over there and more like a needle. And so due to the hard wire, Gaia second wire, we can keep this knuckle shape like this. It looks like overlapped. And I checked the rotational angiogram with the contrast. And I did a reverse cut technique. And finally, this procedure success. I will show my special case, challenging cases. And this is IJCTO2. Looks like a very small, very short CTO lesion. Okay, the hopefully the breeze passed from antigradally, but failed. And this time I changed to the little PPCI procedure. And so I did a tip injection like this. So looks like this is like a channel. It seems like a recanalization channel, severe bending we can see. And even if I use a Sion wire and a Sion block and XTR wire, but very difficult to pass this like a very tortuous route. So what's the next option? So we have the knuckle wire technique. And so I did the Sion block wire, and so automatically change the knuckle shape. And I created another route in the subintimal space, like this. I get advanced to the very close to the CTO exit part, like this. 4, and Melkumar milestone for the antigrade wiring. And so actually, very good milestone for antigrade wiring, this knuckle wire. And it's a very easy way to I can recognize the direction, correct direction for insertion the antigrade wire. And I did the reverse cut technique, and finally good result like this. And this is the last case. And this is a very tough case, challenging case. And this is IJCTO from the beginning, just austere. We can do the and we cannot do the anchor ballooning. Okay, I will show the control injection. We can see very nice collateral channels. Okay, so this time firstly I did the little picture procedure. And this is a tip injection. We can see a very quite hard lesion with calcification. And so I did that. I tried to the reverse cut techniques, but antigrade preparation failed. And so I tried to the lateral crossing, the part failed. And even with the very quite hard wires. And this time the problem is the hard intimate plug, have this lesion. And the difficulty of wire manipulation due to this wire route is via a retrograde route. And my new concept is the creation of subintimal space to just CTO entry by knuckle wire. And since this is just only projection cap using braced stiff wire like this. So previous procedure very difficult to manipulate. But the new concept is create the subintimal space and then very close to the CTO entry. And then so finally using the just puncture using a very hard wire. And so this time I use a Sion block, and looks like very close to the CTO entry. And this I did use the Conquest Pro A20, and I check the rotation angiogram, and which direction is correct. Looks like correct. And finally, this A20 wire passed to our lesion. And we can get a very good, nice result like this. And how often knuckle wire procedure from my experience? So I checked my data. And the knuckle wiring for the retrograde channel is a percentage like this. And the knuckle wiring for CTO lesion is the total number is like 3 to 4%. And the in retrograde picture procedure is around 10 to 15%. And take home message. And knuckle wiring for CTO lesion, the concept is keeping best with blunt push. And very suitable for the lesion in the instant ambiguous route and the bending route and hard lesion. And usually we need a retrograde picture procedure. That's why this like a knuckle shape wire automatically get advanced subintimal space. And we should know the complication, perforation, and hematoma type wire. Thank you for attention.
Dr. Komatsu. With the permission of the next speaker, we will go live to Hirandani for 5 minutes.
One question.
One question. Okay.
Maybe the audience here want to learn how we make the knuckle. One thing. Second, it ends up in long subintimal stenting.
Yes.
these two things.
Yeah, and so the usually they get advanced sub-intimate space automatically, and but we have the experience, and if this CTO region base cell size is very big, and sometimes get advanced intimate space, but very rare case, and we should prepare about the retrograde system or the antegrated dissection reentry system.
So what's the size of the knuckle? Do you size it according to the size of the vessel, proximal vessel which you see, or the size of the knuckle is always constant?
Okay, so I already showed them picture, and a little bit, and the big curve we need, and but actually how to make a knuckle shape, actual knuckle shape is usually automatically change the shape. Okay, and we need to prepare the, just a moment. So usually I make the curve like this. So might be enough.
No, we could not see there.
Okay, please change my presentation.
What are you telling?
What happened?
Like this. That's enough. So might be the automatically change the knuckle shape.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very
Right,
much.
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
What to do if reverse card does not work? Stent assisted reverse card, guideliner, rendezvous technique.
Okay, so I will talk about what to do if the reverse card doesn't work. But I try to find that these cases, it's a very rare cases. Because if we use Gaia wire or conquest wires as a retrograde wire, usually the balloon used reverse card usually can be done. But I found several cases by using the stent reverse card and also the guide liner card and also the reverse rendezvous technique case. So there are 4 types of the antegrade or retrograde wire positions in the CTO region. Both wires are intimal, or both wires are in subintimal, or both wires one wire is intimal and the another wire is subintimal. If you think about the stent reverse card, maybe 4 cases, situations, you can use it. But if the wire is in antegrade wire is in subintimal and the retrograde wire is in intimal, that might be a little bit difficult. Another situations, guideliner card and rendezvous techniques, 2 wires should be in the same space. If there is a barrier, this cannot be work. You should maybe break the barrier by using the balloon before these techniques. So I will show you a stent reverse card. So this is a case of the OM CTO case. Antegradely, the wire couldn't pass through it. So I will move to the retrograde approach. But this was a very tiny retrograde channel. But it was lucky. I could pass through it by using the Sion wire. But after that, the Corsair and also the Fine Cross couldn't pass through this small channel. But the wire is already here. But it was lucky. Sometimes the UB3 wire pass through this kind of the very tiny channel. It was Sion, but it was UB3 because the microcasseters couldn't pass through it. But I gently advanced this UB3 wire like this. But still, I performed. I checked IBUS. However, so the antegrade wire at this position, this was a 2-lumen. And also the retrograde wire was also in the 2-lumen, the intima. I tried a 3.5 millimeter balloon to introduce a retrograde guide wire into the proximal part, but it was in vain. So I checked again. At this point, the anti-grade wire was intima, but beyond this point, the anti-grade wire is subintima. I gently inject the contrast media because if you inject strongly, maybe the subintimal space would be more bigger. But this was the IBUS marker. Then, this was the retrograde wire. Retrograde wire was in intima, and the antegrade wire is intima. But there was a problem of the advancement of the microcatheter. If I could advance the microcatheter deeply, maybe I would change the wire into the Gaia or Conquest to penetrate the antegrade balloon to do the reverse cut. So that's why but it was impossible. So that's why I decided to do the stent reverse cut. I put the stent at the intimal position. If we put the stent at the subintimal position, it would be a very difficult situation. But I put the stent until the intimal position. Then I advanced the retrograde wire under the IBUS observation. So in this situation, the point is you should open the antegrade, stent more bigger, like this. And then, if possible, you should use the UB3 or intermediate wire is needed to penetrate even inside the intima to the stent area. So the retrograde wire could be observed like this. So after that, I did externalization and I did another stent. So the stent cut problem is you should need another stent because the proximal stent is not enough to cover the distal part. So I added another stent and I got a TIMI3 flow like this. So I tried to find a stent reverse cut that the stent was placed at the subintimal space. It was a very rare situation. Usually, I want to put the stent in intimal situation, intimal area. So it was a case that this PCI procedure was performed in the other hospital. So there was information that the stent was placed from here at the subintimal space. They tried to do the reverse cut from retrogradely by using the stent cut, but the stent was placed at the subintimal space. So it couldn't. It was a failure case. So I did a second intervention by using the septal channel, and I wanted to penetrate this area from the through intimal space to the subintimal space to penetrate this barrier. So I passed through this septal channel. It was a small one, so I opened the 1.25 balloon and I advanced the corsair. Then I opened 2.75 balloon. It was performed in the another hospital, so that's why the cine wasn't stored. But I changed into the wire into the conquest. In this kind of a situation, if you penetrate the barrier between the subintima and the intima, usually the Gaia or conquest should be needed. I opened 275 balloon and I could penetrate it into the stent area. After that, I changed the wire into the pilot, like this. So it is a very rare case, but if the stent was placed at the subintimal space, and if you penetrate this distal part retrogradely from the intimal space, you should use the more stiffer wire, like a conquest. So after that, I did externalization and I put two stents as the proximal part and distal part and did DCB, drug eluting balloon, and I got a good result. Stent was maybe placed at the RV side branch. Distal part was previous one was RV, I think. So the next case was a guideliner. So it was the IJCTO case, and I did a parallel wire technique, but I couldn't pass through it like this. In this situation, I moved to the septal channel retrograde approach, and I did this was a relatively long region, but I could advance the wire like this. So from these two views, the wire position might be okay. So I opened the 2O, I opened this region with using the 2O balloon, but I couldn't pass through it. In this situation, maybe the bigger balloon would be effective to introduce a retrograde wire into the two lumen, into the same space. Maybe, but from the rotation angiography, maybe the two wires were in the same lumen. But the important point is, it's better to check the IBUS. This was the navifocus IBUS. So I found that these two wires were inside the same space in the subintimal space. So that's why I simplified the procedure. I advanced the guide liner into this part, and I introduced the wire, retrograde wire into the guide liner like this. If there is no information, maybe you should use the more bigger balloon. Knowing IBUS information, you should use the more bigger balloon. But I have information, these two wires in the same space, so that's why I advanced the wire, advanced the guide liner into that part. I tried to find a rendezvous technique during the reverse cut situation. I only found just one case. So this was the RCA case. I performed in the foreign countries, so I didn't store the lot. I didn't store the lot images, but so this was the CTU and this was the reattempt case. So that's why I firstly performed the retrograde approach because of the reattempt case. So luckily the wire is going to like this position. Maybe the previous attempt, there were several channels during the first attempt. But the point is, the guide wire backup wasn't enough, and also it's very difficult to do the anchoring because of the high angulation of the proximal part and distal part. The branches is maybe from the CTO side. But I couldn't store the image, but during the intervention, the retrograde corsair is going to the inner curvature at this point, and also during the intervention, antegrade corsair is going to the inner curvature of the stem. In this kind of the situation, in the inner curvature or outer curvature, usually the tip of the corsairs will meet together. That's kind of the part of the curvature point. So I saw the coincidence of the tip of the two corsairs. So I advanced the RD3 wire. So it was easily getting into the retrograde corsair to the antegrade corsair. So it was a rendezvous technique during the reverse cut. So I did externalization, I put the stents, and I got a good result like this. So in summary, usually I think that 98%, if we use the optimal balloon size, and also if we use the optimal retrograde guide wire such as the Gaia's or the Conquest, maybe the usual reverse cut can be done. But if you cannot do the reverse cut by using this standard technique, maybe I think the stent assisted reverse cut is more effective. But the important point is, maybe it's better to put the stent in the intima side from antegradely, or if you have confidence, if you see the two wires in the same lumen, even in the subintimal, it is okay. But antegrade wire is subintima and retrograde wire is intima. Maybe it's better to do the another part, but the same space is better to do the stent. But if it is difficult, you should put the stent at the subintimal space antegrade. Then, but you need a more stiff wire. Usually the conquest wire is needed to penetrate the barrier of the subintimal to lumen. So, and also the guideline cut is effective even when the two wires are in the same lumen, and also the microcatheter rendezvous also the effective in the when the both two wires are in the same lumen. So yeah, that is my summary. Thank you for your attention.
Some comments?
Any questions from the audience?
Thank you, Dr. Okamura, for the excellent lecture on a complicated procedure. When not in a routine retrograde, you are doing all these things are useful, stent assisted and the guideliner. Only thing is, I think this, what percentage of cases really we use the Rendigious technique? I have done only one case so far in my career.
Only one case.
I have done only one case. In your experience, you must have done more.
Sorry, I can't clearly hear. I can't clearly hear. Sorry. So
No, he said one case. That's the only case he found out. And
I think your experience with the Rendigious technique.
you mean
Technique, you did one case.
Rendigious case? Yes, only one case.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Thank you for your lecture.
All the speakers did a wonderful work, and this was actually the tough topic in the last session, and we should actually congratulate, closing remarks. Congratulate Dr. Ganesh for doing a wonderful meeting in Bombay this time. And words cannot tell all thanks to him, and actually the presence of nearly more than 100 people in the hall indicate that no meeting, even after 2 o'clock, people sitting in the hall indicates he has done a wonderful work. And
Good.
The excellent work done by Ganesh. In addition, there are so many contributors to this really technically high content workshop. IJCTO is known for that for the last 5 years. I really appreciate the gesture of the Japanese colleagues to travel all the way and educate us in the lectures and the technical operations in the cath lab. And so many delegates, faculty coming from all over the country and abroad also. And also the transmission, excellent transmission really done by Bhatia and team. We should appreciate the industry support, everything. A great job done by everybody in front of the screen and behind the screen. Thank you all.
next meeting will be in June 2018 in the organizing secretary is Dr. Surya Prakash Rao, and we invite actually Dr. Ganesh to tell his last comments to the crowd.
Thank you very much. It was a tough time because we are all, especially our industry colleagues, were going through tough time, but they put up their hand and they really helped us. We hope to keep it as scientific and as educative as possible. We never discussed about stents, we never discussed about anything. It was only an educative material. So thank you for being for me, my co-chair and co-course directors. Thank you very much.
But I will finish my last thanks to our patients who were there on the bed for 3 hours, 4 hours, cooperated and given us success. Our patients are great.